What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of The Journey. I wanted to do a book review um, by Robert Kiyosaki called Fake. And you might know this guy because he made Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so he said that this one and I think another book, Who Stole My Pension, are the 3 books that you should read by him. And also play a game called Cash Flow, which will teach you how to understand like how to invest your money and stuff like that. I play it once a month and it's a really good game. So the book Fake. So it says fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. And basically, fake money is the simple fact that money that's printed or money that doesn't have any value, if that makes sense. So in 1971, President Nixon took the U.S. dollar off the gold standard. So what that means is the U.S. dollar, or how many dollars it was technically, quote unquote, the same amount as gold. Okay, so a U.S. dollar and gold were tied together. You feel what I'm saying? So you could literally go to any country with the U.S. dollar and it was worth X amount of gold. Like, no lie, no kidding, right? So when he took it off, that means the U.S. dollar no longer had true value. And basically, we are walking around giving the U.S. dollar its value, right? But if those people who are in, Forex or whatever that, currency exchange, you understand that the U.S. dollar is worth X amount of dollars. You feel what I'm saying? Compared to other countries and how they view it, right? But when you think of money that has value, he explains it that there's God's money, which is silver, gold, platinum, all those kind of like precious metals. Those are all worth actual value, right? Because those are real money. Because you could take that gold or that silver and go to any country, anywhere, and actually get their amount of money in return for that gold value, right? So that's why right now the U.S. dollar has been going down, and gold and silver prices have been skyrocketing, right? Gold is at its all-time high. Silver is like, I think 40-50% of where it used to be. So like it's continuing to go up though, and that's really helped me understand that I should use quote unquote fake money, the U.S. dollar, and buy real money, which is God's money, right? And buy things that's actually going to actually be worth something, that basically a currency that I can go to anywhere in the world and be able to afford anything that I need, right? So that's how I look at it. Then you have fake teachers, right? Basically talking about a perfect example of this. I started classes on Monday, and my accounting teacher, right, even though he's a real accountant, he's not teaching me from the simple standpoint of him, like, in his experiences of him being an accountant. He's teaching me from the standpoint of, like, I'm going to read this book and give you this information, and then I'm going to just feed it back to you. And it's like, so he's not, like, teaching me anything, like, that's actually, like, important. He's just regurgitating everything from a book and is trying to tell me, okay, like, you should learn this. Which is cool in understanding, because United States is simply standardized tests. So you have to pass those tests to be quote unquote capable of going on to the next level. But if you're thinking about it from a standpoint of like really learning something that you can actually use in the real world, you don't have that experience that he could bring you as a former accountant, that he can actually provide to you, right? So I was on my notes. I'm just like, man, this man is a complete fake teacher. Right? A real teacher to me is like my intro to business teacher, right? He's an actual teacher, meaning it's like, even though that you have a course that we're trying to follow and he's actually trying to teach you something, he talks to you from his actual experiences, right? He guides his class in a way that makes sure that you understand the actual real world material. Like he gave me an example of a poor man's patent, right? So say you were using sauces, right, as your company, that you made a great sauce, right? And Heinz wanted to buy your sauce, right? So since Heinz want to buy your sauce, you would simply be like, all right, cool, I'm going to write down my ingredients to the T. So I understand I understand how to write, I can recreate my sauce, right? Write it completely down on a piece of paper, fold it, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, seal it shut, mail it to yourself, right? Send it through the, USPS, send it to them. They'll send it back to you. And what you do is put it in the safe, unlock it away. So once you sell your sauce to Heinz, if they were to, just using another example, if you were to if they were to knock off your sauce, you could basically say, on this date that I've written out, and there's this stamp of approval from USPS that I have this is my sauce. So either you can, either we can talk numbers, and we can, you can have this a settlement, you feel what I'm saying? Or I could take this to court. Because basically this is a stamp of approval, basically saying that this is my product that you guys are trying to knock me off for. And if you guys want to go through the legal system, then we can do that. Or you guys can, give me some money and we can, call it that. You feel me? So I thought, like, that's a real teacher. Something that you can actually take into today's world and use the next day and actually apply. Then some teacher trying to tell you to go through an entire book, which you basically, it will take you, for me at least, it's taken me a while to understand the concept and then actually apply that into the real world. You know what I mean? So it's like basically me understanding something and then not having him to like confirm your understanding. It's just him pushing out what the book is saying, and that's it. You feel what I'm saying? Compared to my intro to business, which gives you he gives you the book interpretation and then his interpretation, so you can have two perspectives, so then you can make your own and then be like, all right, cool, this is how I understand it, and you can go back to him and be like, this is how I understand it, if this is right or wrong, and he can give you yes or no, and then basically you can take that and go out, you know what I mean, go out in the world and actually use it. That's my quote of real teacher, somebody you can actually learn from and then apply to the real world. Then you have fake assets, right? So fake assets are simply like I said about gold and silver, right? Stocks, ETFs, bonds, all those are fake assets, meaning that if the U.S. economy crashes, all those crash. You feel what I'm saying? Like none of those have any value worth anything. You feel what I'm saying? So you're relying on the U.S. economy to keep steady for you to benefit and recur, money. And so if you buy real assets like, real estate or gold and silver, if you buy anything that's going to actually benefit you, right? Anything that you can then resell for more than it's worth, that's an asset, right? So that's why I simply try to make sure that I take enough of the fake money and buy as many real assets as possible. So if anything hit the fan, I can always be like, all right, cool, I can sell this off and I can sell this off and I can get some money. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's all about making sure that you have a backup plan for like whatever happens. You feel what I'm saying? Say whatever I'm saying is BS, right? But say if you run into a hard time, you feel what I'm saying? Say if you take the dollars that you have, right? And say you got a few extra. I'm talking like 10, 20, right? Gold, silver is worth like $30-some right now. Say if you have enough money to buy a piece of silver. Why not buy that silver and put it in a bank account or somewhere in your house or whatever, and put it there? And if you run up on a hard time, right? Because silver's technically, quote unquote, increasing all the time right now, right? It's continuously going up. So say if you run into a hard time and that piece of silver that you bought is now worth $40. Now you just earned $10 because of the simple fact that this is an actual real asset that you can actually sell off to anybody. Now where are you going to find that person? Go to a pawn shop or, any actual, anybody that's actually selling real silver. All you can do is just look it up, you know what I mean? And you can get money from it because it's a real asset. It's like, say if anything happens, you can still use that compared to using the US dollar. And say things go terribly bad, as things are, quote unquote, right now. If things go terribly bad, you can't go anywhere and around the world and simply be like, oh, this US dollar can get me X amount of dollars. You feel what I'm saying? Like every other country, it's a different variation to where like the spot price of silver and gold is the spot price. There's nothing about it. Like they can't change the spot price. The spot price is the spot price. Like they have to pay you that minimum. That is the price. You feel what I'm saying? And so that's my point. So if you can go to, like, I have family from Barbados. So if I go to Barbados, right, the US dollar is worth two Bayesian dollars. You feel what I'm saying? But in some other country, it might be 1.5. Like in Canada, I think it's like 30-some cents per US dollar. That's not getting your money's worth. You feel what I'm saying? In some countries, yes, you get more, but in other countries, you might get less. But if I have that piece of silver, I can simply go anywhere and be like, oh, I need my $30 because it's worth $30. They got to pay me that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's my point. My point is actually have real money that's actually going to be able to benefit you, right? And a few other key things in this book that I learned that was really huge. One was how to get away with taxes. And everybody's like, oh, why Jeff Bezos gets away with taxes? Why these big mogul companies get away with, not paying taxes? It's simply because The difference between you and those big businesses is that you go to work at a job, they pay you, and you use that money to pay expenses, right? This company takes their money and then invests it in giving other people jobs, which is a tax write-off. Then they go out and they out and like Tesla, right? For a huge example, in California, Tesla has a plant, right? And when you have a plant, that employs a lot of people. Like I said, that's a tax write-off. When you do that, that's also creating that community, right? That you can employ and make a city actually money. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to work at that plant, going home, spending money at grocery stores. It's making a community around. It's making a city growth, right? That's another tax write-off. You feel what I'm saying? If you, I was watching Shark Tank. There was a video of a guy that was having a way that you can plant, you can grow vegetables and fruits by simply just having a way you can, roll it out. He has like little patches of dirt with the seed in it, and you simply just water it, and the plants grow. That's another way of creating food, which is another tax write-off. You feel what I'm saying? And if you create housing, that's another tax write-off. And the reason why real estate, a lot of people get tax write-off, it's a simple thing. The reason why they understand the game is because they know it. And this book, don't get me wrong, this is like 450 pages. It took me like 5 months to read this book. But at the end of the day, now that I have this knowledge up here, now I know. So I don't get mad at Jeff Bezos just because he doesn't pay for taxes. It's because he's actually helping. And look at this. This is how Robert Kiyosaki put it. If you look at it this way, if you're helping the government by giving money, by giving people jobs, by giving them housing, by creating food, they will give you tax write-offs. That's how it works. If you help the government will help you. That's simply it. You, quote unquote, me and everybody else are not technically helping the government in no way, shape, or form. We're not going out creating no jobs. We ain't finna, create no housing. We ain't, create no food. So why they gonna give us tax write-offs? Y'all wonder why they taxing us? Because we just simply living. You feel what I'm saying? If we actually go out and actually benefit the community, the country in some way, they'll give you tax write-off. That's simply what it is, G. Right? And there's another thing. A lot of people say, oh my goodness, I can't start a business. I ain't got no money, right? But I don't want to go to a bank and take a loan. Hey man, all the rich people, and for example in the book, Jared Kushner, he has a real estate company, right? It's a terrible company. But the reason why he makes his money is for the simple fact that he uses the money that the banks have, which are the biggest, besides the big companies like Apple, Microsoft, and all those companies, big tech companies, banks are literally who run this country, right? And he go and takes those dollars, the money that you have in the bank uses your money and gives it to Jared Kushner, not quote unquote directly, but the banks take the dollar and then use. So say you put $10 in the bank, they'll take 9 of those dollars and lend it out to other people, not physically, but systematically. They'll lend out 9 of your dollars to other people, and they'll take that money and then go invest it into real estate on whatever they want to try to make them enough money, right? And Jared Kushner had enough depreciating property that he literally didn't pay a single dollar in taxes and walked away with $1.7 million of free tax-free money. Out of $10 million that his company made, he had enough depreciating properties that he could write that off in taxes, right? So he paid nothing in taxes and literally walked away with 1.7, it was 8.3, so it was 1.7 that he walked away with. If you say that you can't technically, quote unquote, start your business to get the money that you need, you can do it. You just got to understand the system and how it's worked, right? So that's why I'm simply not trying to just run out here and tell you guys that, oh, just go start a business because Jared Kushner did it. Nah. What I'm telling you is learning the game. Once you understand the game and you get, a right mentor and some other people around you that you can teach you the game more in depth so you can understand how the game really works, then you can simply win the game. The game is not hard. The game is that you just don't know how the rules are played. It's like when any game, right? Football, basketball, any of those games. At first, you're like, what is this game? But once you understand the basics of it, they run offenses, they run defenses. You got to dribble the ball. You got to put the ball in the hoop. Traveling. There's charges. When you understand the skills and how to play the game, then it's like, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful game. It's the same way. You just got to understand the game. You just got to put yourself around people who's going to benefit you and help you to make sure that you can actually flourish in the game. And so I simply just keep trying to learn as much as I possibly can, because the more I learn, the more I earn. It's simply that. So that's why I said I recommend everybody reads this book. I didn't give you guys all the tools or all the keys in this book. There's a tremendous amount. All my homies, I tell them all about this. I recommend everybody reads this book. I recommend it completely. It's a great book. It would give you enough information for you to start your journey on financial freedom, and it helped me tremendously to get my financial freedom on the right track. That's why that's why I have real silver, real gold. That's why I invest in that's why I constantly trying to learn as much as possible and invest my money into the real assets, and try to put myself around real teachers, and try to make sure that I don't save a lot of fake money at all. Fake money is just simply for day-to-day uses, but I'll try to invest as much into real assets. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what's really gonna be around no matter what. You feel what I'm saying? So hope you guys learned something from this video. I pray that you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.